Welcome to this presentation on implementing antimicrobial stewardship programs in a hospital setting, which serves as a structural guide to building, integrating, and sustaining stewardship within our healthcare ecosystem. As former CDC Director Dr. Tom Frieden warned, if we use antibiotics when not needed, we may not have them when they are most needed. Our objective today is to explore how we can move from indiscriminate use to a more strategic, evidence-based approach to therapy. We must recognize the urgent global and national threat posed by antimicrobial resistance, as detailed in the threat matrix. The WHO 2024 priority list identifies a critical group including carbapenem-resistant enterobacteriales and A. baumannii, while the ICMR national reality demands aggressive action against these same pathogens, along with drug-resistant Salmonella typhi and Candida auris. These high-priority pathogens necessitate immediate and coordinated institutional responses. Antimicrobial stewardship is defined as a coordinated program that promotes the appropriate use of antimicrobials to improve patient outcomes, reduce resistance, and decrease the spread of infections caused by multidrug-resistant organisms. Our primary clinical goals are to optimize clinical outcomes and minimize unintended consequences such as toxicity and the selection of pathogenic organisms. Secondarily, we aim to reduce healthcare costs without ever adversely impacting the quality of patient care. Structurally, AMSP cannot function in a vacuum. It requires the legal, financial, and structural gravity of the HICC to enforce its mandates. The program sits within an organizational orbit where the medical superintendent or director provides vital managerial and financial backing. As a specialized functional unit monitored by the Hospital Infection Control Committee, HICC, the AMSP develops policies, monitors usage, and advises leadership on antimicrobial strategy. The anatomy of a successful AMSP multidisciplinary team places the patient at the center of all initiatives. This core team consists of an infectious disease ID physician to lead clinical interventions, a strong clinical microbiologist to compile susceptibility data and share resistance goals, an ID clinical pharmacist to provide drug expertise and act as a liaison, and an information systems specialist to analyze population-level data and support outcomes reporting. Optimal antimicrobial therapy is built upon the strong 5 Ds: right diagnosis, right drug, right dose, right duration, and de-escalation. This framework ensures we move from an accurate identification of the infection to selecting the best empiric or targeted drug. We then optimize the pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics, limit exposure to the exact time frame needed for a cure, and transition from broad-spectrum to pathogen-directed therapy as soon as lab results allow. The strong cycle of improving antibiotic prescribing follows 5 distinct phases, starting with a clinical assessment and the ordering of appropriate diagnostics. After starting empiric therapy with explicit documentation of dose and indication, we reach the most critical intervention point, Phase 4, the 48-hour timeout. During this phase, the physician reassesses the prescription based on lab results to de-escalate or shorten therapy, followed by clear communication of the definitive treatment plan to the entire staff. Our strong implementation roadmap is a 7-step process that begins with securing administrative support and leadership commitment. We then assess the current situation regarding prescribing practices and resistance patterns before allocating infrastructure and manpower. Next, we frame an antibiotic policy based on local antibiograms and deploy active and passive strategies. Finally, we ensure hospital-wide adoption through continuous education and training for all members of the healthcare team. The AMSP intervention framework utilizes both strong, active, and passive strategies, categorized by whether they occur before or after a prescription is written. Active strategies include antimicrobial formulary restriction and pre-authorization on the front end, and prospective audits with real-time feedback and IV to PO conversion on the back end. Passive strategies involve providing education, guidelines, and clinical decision support to guide the prescriber toward better choices. When comparing strategies, pre-authorization, a front-end approach, offers direct control over drug usage and reduces inappropriate initiation immediately, but can trigger prescriber opposition. Conversely, prospective audit and feedback, a back-end approach, reviews therapy at the 48-hour mark. This latter method is highly applicable to private hospitals, as it respects physician autonomy for empiric prescribing and helps build collegial relationships, though it requires significant IT and surveillance support. Localizing the blueprint involves following the ICMR 2018 mandates, which require the periodic generation of hospital antibiograms to draft site-specific antibiotic policies. These mandates also include strict approval protocols for restricted antimicrobials, specific audits of last-resort drugs like carbapenems and polymyxins in ICUs, mandatory periodic training and certification for staff, and systematic monitoring of antibiotic consumption and expenditure data over time. We must overcome cognitive barriers and historical inertia, where dogma often supersedes high-quality evidence. Common fallacies include the belief that more or bigger diseases always require more or bigger drugs, or that antibiotics are non-toxic. In reality, diagnostic uncertainty often breeds a fear of being wrong, leading to defensive medicine and a knee-jerk reflex to escalate therapy rather than waiting for confirmatory data. Navigating operational friction requires solutions for every department. The microbiology lab must combat garbage in, garbage out by rejecting contaminated samples, while prescribers should be supported with standard treatment guidelines and regular audit reminders to address concerns over autonomy. Finally, the stewardship team must shift its narrative from being perceived as antibiotic police to a collaborative partner focused on patient safety. Success in AMSP is monitored through structural, process, and outcome metrics. Structural measures focus on the foundation, such as having an active team and policy, while process measures track the execution via antibiotic consumption, DDD-DOT. The ultimate victory is found in outcome measures. Optimized clinical results with reduced mortality, a decrease in the emergence of MDROs, and a measurable reduction in overall healthcare costs.